All right, happy Thursday. It's time for us to gracefully waltz into another day of game dev here. Game dev is not a waltz, though. Game dev is somewhere between a tango and a mosh pit, I think. Here we are. Happy Thursday. How's it going, y'all? Hey, Rihanna Journey. How are you? My Twitch interface is behaving super weirdly today. Glad I can at least see chat. But it's not telling me about ads or anything. You ready for the long weekend? Me too, Rihanna Journey. I have put off so much like domestic stuff. It's gonna be so nice having 3 days. Overall, you're doing pretty good. Nice, nice. Yeah, I was feeling the grind a lot lately, but I've had some decent breakthroughs both at work for my day job, and yesterday we finally got some progress on our texture atlas stuff. So I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good going into the the home stretch here. This is kind of the midpoint of our streaming week here. Oh, different radio. There we go. It's finally summer in the city. It is warm. It is warm here. Our summer is typically late August to like mid-October sometime. Looking forward to it. I need to get outside while the sun is still up, before fall, before summer becomes fall and fall becomes winter. Diginanigans, you're crunching to get a project on a tight deadline done today. Then after that, you have until Tuesday off as well. Hell yes, nice. Yeah, that'd be cool. You get it done today, then you also get Friday off. That would be great. I had to genuinely double check and make sure it wasn't Friday. Rhiannon, you've done most of your big cleaning projects over the last few weekends, so you think you'll get to at least have 2 days off from doing stuff? Nice, nice. What's the temps over there? You're in the high 70s now, which is much better than the high 80s. That is our summer. Our summer is like high 70s. If it gets really hot, we might get into the 80s. But San Francisco is very coastal and is very sheltered by the Pacific Ocean. There has to be like a crazy like heat dome event or something for us to get above 80. At least in my neighborhood. There's some places downtown that get very hot. Because downtown, it's all asphalt and skyscrapers and stuff, but I'm like very close to the ocean, which has its upsides and downsides. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I might even get out to the beach, which I can get to by just walking for like 15 minutes. We'll see. But yeah, it's if the temperature gets any higher than like I don't have air conditioning, so it's already like 76 in here, and I'm overheating a little bit, but whatever. We'll survive. Nay, thrive. All right. So we made a massive cut to our tile set atlas yesterday. We went from having this horrible monster. I'm gonna do like a dramatic like pan. You couldn't live without AC where you are? Fair. Yeah, for us, we need the heater. Because it'll be like, May, and it might be like 60 degrees. But yeah, this is the old one. This one's huge. Just look at the size of that full wall tile texture. So we've cut that. We've gotten rid of this idea of the half walls or the half outlines. We've realized we could restrict the buildable area to an extent. If we outlaw 2x2 blocks, we don't need to support this anymore. I can kind of show. I should get in the habit of running the game like first thing every stream for people finding the VODs and stuff. Although none of my VODs have particularly caught on this week. Probably because of how boring what we're doing is. Can't wait till we have some stuff going that looks a lot more appealing and is more lively. But we're getting there. This tool is almost done. So I realized I actually didn't need a multi-level demo for this, but whatever. So the problem is that if we allow this thing here, if we allow the 2x2 wall arrangement or anything thicker than a 2x2, like I think a 3x3 is even worse. No, it's about the same. But yeah, if we allow this, we have all these crazy you can see the half block cases where there's a full block next to a half block. It's when there's, I don't know how to describe it, but it's this combination provides us all the weird edge cases that we need to cover with the half outline, the half wall outlines. And that means a full wall that is partially extending an outline. I just, for a number of reasons, want to make these illegal, like a 2x2 wall group or anything bigger. For design reasons, obviously here for rendering reasons. I think it's more fun if everything's single walled. I think there are ways around this where you could do like corridors, like you could do like Jeffrey's tube style corridors where you have a single wall and then maybe like a crawl space and then another single wall. I probably don't want to do crawl spaces because of the half wall cutaway. Like if you have this is like a trench in the front here. You can't really see the bottom of it. So I think I would want to have a full wall, but it might make sense to have these weird little hallways. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how we end up doing that stuff. But there are ways around, you know, increasing the defenses of an area without having to do double thick walls. I think double thick walls are just boring. It will reduce the impact of things like hull breaches and stuff like that. Long droning noises. I pan. Yeah, that would have been good. I should have. I'm not a cinematographer. I don't know how this stuff is done. I've been watching a lot of classic sci-fi though, which has been fun. As I noodle on some art stuff in my free time. All right. So what do we want to do here? I think we re-engage. So we've got a new tile. I guess I got distracted. So we got rid of these half outlines, which is great. It simplifies the possibility space significantly. And we rebuilt the atlas like this. Simple thing. Not quite sure how I want to organize the Z faces on the right here. There's a lot of extra space, and I want to figure out something I can do with it, but I don't know. It might just be a space to like demo, to like show the full object or something. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what makes sense to do with, because I think there's too many of these already. I think I want a little ham here. But this is great. This is using the same mapping for full walls, half walls, and floor tiles. And it's great. So we need to finish integrating this. I think I already wrote out the mapping in a JSON file that we're going to use. All right, we can get rid of this extent 4 thing. We don't need that. What information do we need? So we have the X map. So this long string of vectors, I showed this to someone and they were like, "Holy matrices, Batman," and I'm like, "Not quite, but almost." These are vectors that represent the autotiled locations of a given. So this is the autotiler encoding. So when the autotiler picks a tile, it essentially fills this out. It says, "Give me tile. I need tile 3310, or I need tile 1201, or whatever." These are all the actual tiles, right? And then the way that's arranged, the way we figure that out is this little diagram I've been working on, which I want to finish, but I haven't. So, like, you can figure out, so you can take this. So here's the XY axes. Is that a whole ship worth of JSON? No, Skywalk, it's this. So it describes the arrangements here, sort of. It describes two things. It's an array. So all of those values are indexed based on these patterns. So this block is like essentially the same as this block, and the value of that array are the encodings here. So if you pick, like, we pick tile, I don't know, 5. Tile 5 here has, this is the 5th, well, it's the 6th. This is index 5 in that array, and you can tell what its autotiler coordinates are by looking at this table. So its x value is 2, its y value is 2, and then if we look at the 2 table, which is here, we can see that its ZW value is 0, 0, but it has a variant. So tile 15 is a variant of tile 5, and its W value is 2, its Z value is 0. So if we want to, so at index 15, the vector is 2, 2 for the XY, and then 0, 2 for the ZW. So that vector 4 is what the autotiler is, how the autotiler identifies this tile. But the texture map, or the tile set atlas itself, identifies the tile by index 15. So I guess the only other information we need is we need to know what the width is of an individual block. What do I want to call that? Because we need to know what to divide the index by to get the actual atlas coord. You know, we could just store the actual atlas coord instead of the index, but then we still have to calculate it once. 1 second, I'm getting a phone call. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, so we're gonna go here. So we've got our X map. These are all the atlas coords for the X facing ones. We've got the Y map for all the Y facing ones, and then we got the Z map for the Z facing ones. The Z map are just vector 2s because there are no corners, so they don't need to be vector 4s. We'll see how we want to process that. But how's it going, Skywalk? It's been cool looking at all your little dev posts in the Discord. Oh, here you go. Skywalk, you're so hyped. You showed your game demo. You showed your game demo to the Kirka.io dev. He's very pleased. Not only will release this once you feel it's ready, but playing it will unlock exclusive content in the original game to force player to maybe buy it for the big price tag of $1 for a game and unlockable in another game. Oh, cool. Interesting. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, be careful with your business arrangements or whatever. I'm sure it's small dollar amounts, but that sounds great. Very excited. Yeah, it's been cool watching your progress. The amount of pooling you've been doing is interesting. I do a lot of JavaScript stuff at my day job. It all executes in the cloud, so I don't generally care about performance. But I have some stuff that's really long and is like butting up against like the maximum allowed runtime for like a function. And I'm thinking about like maybe what I could do to pull over some of that stuff. I saved that optimization guide that you shared, I think. Look through that at some point when I'm doing an optimization pass. Super useful, hopefully. Guide's nuts. It just removed all your bottlenecks. Cool. Yeah, I'll check it out. All right, so what we can do, oh, so I want to change the way that this format is being saved. Right now, it's just being saved as a... How do I want to do this? So I could keep this class. So right now I have a custom tileset atlas format class, which is very wrong. Kind of don't want to save it as a class though. So there's an awkward like chain of responsibility here that I don't like, which is essentially I'm storing this format as a export variable, as an export property on the game node. And so I just put the file in here, the JSON file. And then right now we just have an assets static class here that we can plug it into with this. We deserialize our custom little tileset atlas format class. We read that JSON file in. This is not good in a number of reasons. One is it's not going to work in a build because we use project settings.globalize path. I don't care about that part per se right now. So we store the thing here, and then the tile system goes and uses it to build out these dictionaries that it has as member variables here. So this is actually what I don't like. I don't like this dictionary thing because it only allows us to have like one tile set format. I also don't love that it's a dictionary. I kind of want to do this differently. I want to have like a format. I think in the short term we'll have an entity, but what we would eventually want to do is have like more of an archetype. So multiple entities. So you could have multiple format entities and you could pick one. That's going to be a little tricky to map. But there would just be a process where you like register tileset atlas formats. This is for if I come up with alternative formats, because I think I will. I might need more than just this default. I'm pretty sure this default covers like all of our current use cases. But, you know, obviously all of our current use cases is different than all of our future use cases. So I just want to be careful. Do it in a way that's extensible. So what I actually want to do is instead of this function, which is way down here, way down here somewhere. Yeah, so this sucks. This is like going through reading all this stuff out into and creating a dictionary out of the array, out of the JSON array that we've built here. Do I just put width here? I think I might just put width. Well, it would be X width. Be like X width is not, well, I guess that is, that's ambiguous. It's like, do I mean X in terms of X face, or do I mean X in terms of this is the size of the thing here? Where's the thing? The thing, this thing. So we have this mapping. I think I want to describe its width. I could call it like region width or something like that. Because they are different. Like this one's width in terms of tiles is different. So let's call it like, I guess let's call it X width. And that in its 12. I'll call this X faces. Say X faces, and we'll say X width. And here we can say Y faces. Say Y width. And we can say Z faces. Say Z width. I think that's all the data I need right now. Question is, do I store this as a... No, I can just store it as vector 2. There's an implicit conversion from a vector 2 to a vector 4. But yeah, this is much simpler and much shorter. If you'd seen the JSON file from before, if you'd seen the JSON file from this SOB, it was crazy. I'm so glad to I just want to throw this thing in the garbage. I'm going to keep it just to, you know, remember my misstep here. This is great. This is great, though. And this actually has a fun characteristic. I talked about it yesterday, but I'll talk about it again here. And I think it's going to affect how I organize everything. So the way this... Actually, it's not a characteristic of this. It's a characteristic of this. So if you look at the mapping, it's a 4x4 by 4x4. So it's the ZW is also 4x4. You can best see it when you get out to like this one. It's the most. These are all the corner only cases. And what's cool, what's neat is that means the index into these is 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's a value between 0 and 3 for each coordinate, of which there are 4. And that means each of the coordinates in here can be just represented by a byte, right? Which is great. You just have 2 bits for X, 2 bits for Y, 2 bits for Z, 2 bits for W. Beautiful. You should use them as bit flags, right? Which is great. So we can, instead of having a dictionary where the key is this vector, we can have an array where the index is just the byte code of this vector. I don't know if I'm using the word byte code right. I'm almost certainly not. Yeah, I'm not. Just the byte. Just the vector in byte form. That's cool. Not every one of the values is used, so there are going to be some empty indexes, but overall, it's not bad. It's actually kind of wasteful because we only use like 50. Oh, we use like 100 of the. Oh, no, it's 50. We only use like 50 of these. But there's only, it's not that wasteful. There's only 64 bit flag combinations. Hey, Fusionist. How's it going? Happy Thursday. Maybe we say that, maybe we call this Z Atlas. Because these are the Atlas coordinates. Oh, no, they're not the Atlas coordinates. They're what we used to consider the Atlas coordinates. The new Atlas coordinates are not described by this. This is like the autotile coordinates. I don't know if, I can't think of a good way to describe the autotile coordinates of this. But whatever. Faces is good enough for now. Chilling today. You're checking out some indie games. Nice, nice, nice. I've just been playing Hardspace Shipbreaker this week. I played a couple hours yesterday. It was so good. Love that game. I'm doing a new playthrough. I had to pick it up on Steam because it left Game Pass before I could finish it some time ago, and I like forgot. So I was like, "Yeah, let's do another playthrough," and it's been such a good time. It's exactly the level of like intensity I've been looking for. So we're not going to do any of this junk anymore. We're not going to build a dictionary out of this thing. What I want to do is I want to make an entity, and I want to store these as buffers on the entity, I think. I think that's what I want to do. Yeah, I'm not prepared for next week's game jam. Down to Jam is starting in just a week here. DToJam.com. Starting the 5th. I'm mildly panicking. Just because I am not ready. I'm having fun with the logo here. Oh, it moves around. But yeah, very excited. I don't know why it keeps... I gotta complain to Adagon. It keeps logging me out. Yeah, very... Oh. 86 entrants now. It's gonna be small. Small jam. Very excited. I don't know. There's probably gonna be, what, like 30 submissions, maybe? Based on, like, the average fallout. Like, maybe 3 dozen. Nice small jam. Very excited. Will hopefully catch me live on it. Yeah, no worries. You're missing it. You can't do them all. I'm doing this, and I'm assured doing this because I am not gonna do Ludum Dare in October. So that would have been my big jam for the latter half of the year here. Not gonna do that, so I'm gonna do this instead. Yeah, I'll definitely be live for it. I'll probably be live. I'll probably do something like 8-hour streams Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I actually don't remember when is Down to Jam start? I know the day. I don't know the time is the thing. 10 a.m. GMT -7. Oh, that's my time. Okay, so it's 10 a.m. Friday until 10 a.m. Monday. There's also a 2-hour submission window. So it's kind of more like till noon on Monday. One Dev Army has the same deadline, I think. I'm doing the ODA, which is the One Dev Army version. Yeah, 3 days, Friday, Monday. I gotta double check the rules for ODA. But yeah, we'll probably do a ton of streaming. I'm not going to do the thing I've done in the past, which is like 12-hour streams, which maxes out the length of a VOD that I can upload. Like, the VOD just stops recording after 12 hours, which I learned. All right, so what I want to do is I want to make an entity here. I want to call it something like public. Right now we can just have one. We can just call it like tile set format. And what we'll have is we'll have this entity. We'll create this entity here. You know what we could do is we could... So here's the question. Should I store this in this assets object I made? I made this just so that we could have a thing that we refer to. I think I want to do that. So I'm going to change this class to match the current thing that we have, which is public vector 4i. It's an array. Oh my god, we're getting raided. Red alert. Raid alert. Hide the code. Z.A. Shaw and company. How's it going with the raid of the 37 people here? I'm hiding the code. Give me a second. I'm going to sweep it all under the rug here. Hello. Welcome in. This is Digital Iliad, where we make an FTL-like in Godot. Key release. Wow, that's hard to say. Adronimo. How's it going? You got a raid and run? Well, what's an FTL game? Yeah, let's do that. I'll tell you what FTL is, and then I'll show the raiders what we're working on. Thank you for the follow, Zed. So FTL Faster Than Light is kind of the game that we're mostly modeling our deal off of. This is a classic starship management game from 2012. You have your little crew, you have your little ships and systems. A game that recently came out that's very much like this would be Void War, which is like a Warhammer 40,000 take on this. Classic top-down 2D spaceship management game with kind of abstracted combat, possible real-time. You haven't played FTL in so long, give it a try. Or also, if you're interested, check out Void War. Void War is like a modern... The Solar Empire Burns. It's very good. Is it going to show us gameplay? This is just a very 40K intro. Very nice pixel art. Yeah, here we go. So this is like cinematic. It's also like FTL. It's really cool. It's a modern implementation. Just came out in June. Check it out if you want an FTL style game. It's really FTL. Like, it's kind of wild how blatantly they ripped off 40K and FTL. The interface is identical, but it's really cool. They expanded the gameplay in a lot of interesting ways. So if you're looking for an FTL-like game, check this out too. But we're making like an isometric 2D take on this, is what we're trying to do. We're trying not to do the top-down 2D thing. We're trying to do an isometric thing and add a little more verticality. You want to do RimWorld's latest space expansion? It's really cool. I played it. How's mine going? So we have been all in on like tools development. We have this tile block editor, I call it, because our ships are 3D, but our presentation is isometric 2D. So we have this whole autotiler cutaway tile block editor thing. Hopefully this runs. So we can, at the moment, build out these 3D spaces. So I can build a bunch of decks. I will fill them in. And then what I will do is I will hollow them out so that we've got rooms. We also have a compartmentalization system, so we can do like oxygen stuff, like atmospheric stuff. Cutaway system to manage, because the problem with us is there's a visibility problem. Like, how do you see into a space like this? So we've been working on all these different, we've been tackling a lot of pre-production stuff. So there's a whole cutaway system. There's a big autotiler. We've totally split the simulation from the rendering. So it's very easy to just render what we want here. We can even auto-tile doors. So you can just make the doors bigger up to a point. We don't support an infinite number of doors, but yeah, this is kind of the thing we've been working on a lot. Appreciate that. And what we've been doing recently is we're trying to update our tile set atlas. So this uses a somewhat primitive tile set atlas that doesn't understand corners. It only knows about sides. And there's a problem that you run into if you don't account for corners. I think I can show it like this. All face mapping. So if you don't have, I could say no dots, but if you don't, if your tile set atlas just looks like this, it's just like outlines of the edges only. We're also using kind of an unusual projection. We're using 4x1 instead of the 2x1 typical isometric stuff. I know, Zed, you said you had to raid and run, Zed, so again, thanks for this. Thanks for the raid. Take it easy. So yeah, we'll miss corners like this because this piece is like, oh, hey, I should remove the outline on the right side. And oh, hey, I should remove the outline on the bottom. And it's like, that's all great, but it leads to situations like this of like broken outlines and stuff. So we've had to expand it to include the dots, I say, which means including little corner pieces. So there's now a corner state and a non-corner state. And we've drawn a new tile map or tile set atlas, which is this. So like here are all the walls. Here are all the wall pieces with their outlines, including whether there's a corner piece or not corner piece. So we're just hooking this in, and we're going to start teaching the game about it so that we can start using this. But this is our new format. So what we've been working on is just plugging that in here. So we can forget about this code. Don't need it. We'll probably delete it. Actually, I'm probably going to delete it right now. Yeah, how's everyone doing? Happy Thursday. Honestly, I'm not sure what Zed was doing. But I'm curious what anyone else is working on. How their week's going. Appreciate people choosing to spend some time here today. All right, so we're replacing all these dictionaries that are member variables of the tile system here. We're replacing them with an entity that is going to hold buffers of these instead. So that's what we're going to do. How does this still have a reference to it? Where is this reference? I see it's here. Oh, I started plugging this in. Okay, that's fine. You're playing Minecraft right now. Code-wise, you're working on an academic planner style web app. Oh, cool, cool. Is this for, is that more for like students or teachers? That sounds cool. My partner's been pursuing a thesis, and there's definitely a lot of organizational struggles with it. All right, so the first thing we were going to do is we were going to rewrite our little class that we use for our very simple JSON deserializer. So our JSON deserializer uses a custom class. Eventually, I would like to use just like an immutable structure instead. But I also don't totally care because this is just an intermediate object. So, and it's something we just do once. So this is all very temporary. So we'll say to do project settings on globalized path will not work in a build. To do replace custom class with an immutable struct. I could put a fun, fancy little type thing in here, but I'm not going to bother. Adronimo. Excuse me. Adronimo. Thank you for the follow. I am constantly trying to mix up the M and the N. Key release. The idea is you put in your schedule and your assignments and then have a today page that tells you what you should be working on. It's an attempt to assist your ADHD spawn and yourself. You hope to expand it beyond homework assignments. Try to aid with extreme executive dysfunction. That's cool. That's cool. That's definitely the thing with productivity apps is like you only want to surface the work. You only want to surface as much work as you need to. Like you only want to surface the stuff you can do now, right? The stuff that's met or the stuff that you should be doing now. Like it's a mix of dependency management and like timing. Like due date management. Yeah, there's definitely a problem to be solved there. I know people that have made up their own custom project management stuff for that purpose. I know the Butterscotch Shenanigans devs do that. They have their own work planner thing. Like it seems pretty cool. That sounds very useful to you as well, Rhiannon. You believe your name is hard to pronounce for non-Spanish speakers? No, don't be sorry. It's your name. I'm sure I'm butchering the pronunciation. All right, so we're going to continue to use this custom type for now. We just need to rewrite it to update it. So it includes a vector 4i. Oh, I need to write a vector 4i converter. That'll be easy. This was called X faces. Get. Actually, don't know what I want for that. Get. Did get in it? So I do want all of that. Oop. Code Complete's trying to help me, but I'm like I'm so like twitchy. This one can just be a vector 2. And then we'll say public integer x width. Public integer y width. Public integer z width. That's a lot simpler than what we had before, which is nice. What we need to do now is we need to go into our vector 4i class here. Oh, actually, we don't need to do it in the class. We can make a class adjacent to it. So go in here. We'll grab our vector 2i converter, and we'll just make a copy of this. Is there not just a duplicate button? I swear there was. I guess I just Control C. No, there was a duplicate button somewhere in here. Embarrassing. I can't find it. Just Control. Copy, paste. Maybe Control D would have done it. All right, so a vector 4i converter. Watch how easy this is. It's kind of stupid. This is also not a great converter. This is a very primitive converter. I didn't want to write a good one. This is like the kind of reader that like Stack Overflow would just tell you to do. Really primitive. But it's nice that you can just define a custom JSON converter and then you can just add an attribute. You just add an attribute to the top of the file here, specify the type of JSON converter that you use, and bam. I don't think you can just do it directly on the struct, but maybe you can. And then so we just grab our vector 4i, give it that attribute. We say your converter, you're going to need a vector 4i converter. You just need to, what do we need to be using? di.vi.json. Okay. I don't know why I put that in this namespace, but that's fine. What else do you need to use? Why are you using Godot? Oh, because you convert some Godot things. What are you using this for? I don't like looking at usings. There's always so much cruft in there. All right. Vector 4i JSON converter. We got that now. Diginanigans, what are you up to? This weekend, you think you're going to be working more on the Blender plugin so you can hopefully minimize the cleanup you need to do after creating them initially in the voxel editor? Nice. Yeah, having a custom Blender plugin for that will be really cool. All right, so we still have our thing. Let's make sure the file path is correct. It probably isn't. See if we got that. Maybe it is. Default atlas format.json. I don't think that's right. Oh, maybe it is. All right. We got it. Let me rebuild and make sure we still got it. Yep. All right, cool. So the next thing we got to do then. So we're building this. I guess let's just make sure that that's occurring. And not crashing. Crash. Tile set atlas format. JSON object contains a trailing comma at the end. Oh. Well, who would do a silly thing like that? Actually, you know, I feel like arrays should have trailing. Did I put it? Oh, I did. You'd think they could figure that out. I think that wouldn't be a showstopper. And yet here we are. Someone mentioned the Discord. But yeah, we got a Discord. All right, I don't know what I was thinking I'd be testing there. So what I need to do. Okay, so now we have the JSON file that we've deserialized into our tileset atlas format and stored here. And so now what we need to do is when we get to the tile system, the tile system needs to make this. So you need to say tile set format equals game.world.createEntity. Yeah. And then we can say game.world.add buffer component. We need a new buffer. All right, here's where the fun part happens. We need to call this something. And we need to make 3 of them. This is where I don't love how I've organized this project. I want to split out the implementation of the entity component system from all of the different components and buffer types I'm creating. I really need to split this part out, the ECS implementation itself, into like a plugin or something. It's really bad that it's like tightly coupled here. All right, so we could use buffer read and write. It doesn't need to be buffer 3D. So like we can model it kind of after a room buffer. Oh no, a room buffer. Oh, it includes a component. That's an AABB. What is the actual buffer component? It's just an integer. Yeah. So we can make a new... The only stupid thing is that we need to make 3 of them. Because I only allow you to have 1 copy of each kind of buffer. So we need to call this something like... should we make a generic one and then... No. We'll just make like X. We can just call it XMap buffer. We can call it X tile set atlas buffer. X atlas format buffer. Should we put the X at the bottom, at the back? Tile set atlas format buffer. I don't know what to call this. I'm running into the great challenge. What do I want to think? How do I want to... Let's go through this. How do I want to think about this? So we've got our tile set atlas format. I call it default tile set atlas format. I probably don't want to do that. Just call it this. Actually, no, we should call it default because that's what we're going to store here. And in the format, what are we calling it? Calling it X faces? I don't love that. So essentially what we're doing, I've mentioned this before, but we're taking this array, the index of which is the position in the tileset atlas texture. Well, it's not exactly the position in the tileset atlas texture. It's the position after it's been mapped, which is kind of an interesting optimization or tooling thing that we'll probably want to do at some point. We'll probably want to have the mapping of this separately. I think I want to store the atlas coordinates instead of just storing the index. Obviously, it would be less space to just store the index. No, let's just store the index. I also have to remake all of these. Ugh. Because I made this. This is the old tile set. It's huge. It's ridiculous. I'm glad we don't have to use this anymore. It's double the size of the new one. So yeah, I definitely want a tool that can build this instead of having to do this all the time myself. I really don't want to have to do that. I wonder if I can swap in the texture. All right, Skywalk. I guess I walked into that one. You got me. So what this array stores is essentially it stores the atlas coords. I could call it packed atlas coords. Atlas coords. Let's just call it like atlas index or something like that. Love this song. UV. Oh, UV's not bad. It could be like the X face UV index. It's short. It's somewhat verbose. Song is a banger. All right, I want to call this. So X face tile set atlas. I'm not gonna call that whole name. I think UVs is pretty smart. So what we're gonna call the buffer, we can call the buffer. It's stupid that this is the kind of thing I agonize over, but you know that's programming, right? We can say tile set atlas X face UVs. Well, that's only if we stored it in as UVs. We could say UV. I don't really want to say UV indices. Maybe we just say UVs. Tile set atlas X face UVs. We could say UV index buffer. That's really wordy, but it's probably better to be wordy than to be I might want to put X face at the beginning. X face, tile set, atlas, UV index buffer. That's good enough for now. I know what it means. I know what it refers to. All right, so now we just need to write it as a, like any other buffer, public read-only record struct, define a length, define an iBuffer component. Okay. Split right. All right, where's my new buffer? Here it is. I really don't like naming things this long. I might just shorten this to xface UV index buffer. Yeah, that's better. Maybe X faces UV index buffer. So public read-only record struct. We love our read-only record structs here. You're going to be an iBuffer component of int. Could be uint, but whatever. You need to specify a length. Is this a primary? Yeah, it is. Okay. Hide this. So we can actually see what we're doing here. Skywalk. An atlas is just an image with tiles that doesn't have any logical order. A tile set is the same thing, but has logic. UV is just the tile coordinate in either atlas or a tile set, so maybe using UV isn't the best word, and tile set is correct. I think tile set atlas. So UV index is maybe the thing where we get confused. I think maybe X faces, tile set, index. Maybe it could be X face. X faces. X facing. Because it's what we're mapping here is we've got our tile set. We've got our tile set atlas. Our tile set atlas has atlas coords that are it's not the coords of the whole atlas, right? It's like it's just the coordinates of the section that you're interested in. So like here it starts 0, 0 is the upper left of the file. But over here 0, 0 is also 0, 0 for this. So these are tile set atlas sources, these individual components of the tile set. So it's really the tile set atlas coordinates. But we're instead of storing the coordinates directly, we were just going to store the lower dimensional number of it. You know what happens when you flatten it. Yeah, it is Skywalk. It's an atlas that has logic for tiles facing X, so it's a tile set facing X sort of thing. Yeah, that's kind of what we're starting to converge onto. I think I'm going to call it XFace tileset atlas index buffer. That's wordy, but we could also not put XFace at the beginning. We could say tileset atlas or tileset XFace. I like putting the differentiator at the beginning, so I'm going to keep it there. XFace tileset atlas index buffer. That's it. It specifies XFace, it specifies what it is, what it refers to, which is a tileset atlas, and it's a buffer of indexes. I think we got there. I think we got there eventually. Let's rename it. XFace tileset atlas index buffer. Yeah, I'm okay with that. It's a little wordy, but it's very clear what it is. All right, what's your problem? You don't interface, you don't implement any of the required interface things? Yeah, we need a buffer ID, and then we need a constructor that takes the buffer ID, so we need a public, and we need to include buffer ID, and length. This length. I feel like this could be one line. It could be an expression body. Let's write ours as an expression body at least. Oh, there was something else that I'm missing. Oh yeah, these. We need our little icomparable things. Hash code. I want to use this community toolkit high performance helpers hash code, but I don't understand it. What am I currently using? We're just using system. Let's continue to use system. I have the high performance toolkit for a very specific reason, and it comes with all these other things that I don't use, but I kind of want to. I just see high performance toolkit, and I'm just like, yeah. All right, so an XFace tileset atlas index buffer. Great. This is like, I think this is about the longest name that I tolerate. I think any longer than this, and I'm like, this is too long. All right, let's make a couple copies of this. Can I just control D? No, that was not the right thing to do. Diginanigans, the 3 classic troubling things, thingamajigs with programming, off by 1 errors and naming things. Yeah, exactly. You got it. Obligatory off by 1 joke. Salah Harrison Wan, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. I extra appreciate that when someone follows in the midst of us doing something really stupid or banal. I'm like, oh, yeah. How are you doing? And N+1 queries? Yeah, exactly. Kierleys, you got it. Hope everyone's doing well. Thanks to the Zed raid, we're at a much bigger crowd than normal for the kind of work that we do. So appreciate people hanging out here. It's supposed to be a chill place to, you know, hang out and co-work and spend part of our work day. All right, so we got the X face, Y face, and Z face tileset atlas index buffer. Should these know? Should I include in the buffer? Oh, it would have to be in the buffer component. Yeah, should I include some information about the buffer in the component? So we know length. Should I also include width? I think I should. Where do I want to include the width? I think I want to include it here because the width lets us get from the buffer back to the atlas coordinate. So, you know, we can take, we'll get our x by taking the remainder of index divided by width, and we'll get our y by, I get this mixed up, but we'll do the modulo. No, y is the remainder and x is the modulus thing. You know what I mean. We divide and we use the percentage. I'm really bad at terminology. I'm not, which is tough because I've decided to stream all of this, which involves explaining things. ON squared everything. Skywalk. Yeah, this hackerspace I visit, they have a big O poster that takes up like the whole wall, and it talks about all of the space and time complexities of it, and it's very cool. All right, so we got this. We've got our faces and we've got our width. I think I should call this something else, but I'm not going to. I could call it like X autotiler and autotile encoding or something like that. Be like X tile system encoding. I don't know. Tile system code. X tile codes. And we can also have like X atlas width. Say X tile coords. I don't like saying tile coords because it implies that this is like the coordinates for the tile set, but it's like, it's less clear than that. But I think this is okay. We can say X atlas width is 12. We can say X tile coords are these, because these are coords and they are related to the X tiles. So yeah, let's be slightly more verbose about this. Say Y atlas width 12. Say Y tile coords. Hey J-Cup, how's it go? Excuse me, how's it going? Sorry, that was the old message. You should have included cache invalidation as well. You're funny. X-tile indexes. Yeah, these aren't indexes though, is the thing. These are coords. But the thing is, they're not atlas coords. That's where the confusion comes in. These are the coordinates, the internal autotiler coordinates. It's very confusing. I'm not doing a good job explaining this, which is the whole point of me doing this as a JSON file like this is, one, we don't have to hard code it somewhere else, and two, it can be included with like the file so that you can when we start getting more of a mod system involved, you can send in a, you can have your texture and you can include like a format file as well, and it will tell the tile system the format of the texture that you're giving it. I want that. I want that to be how this works. We're just gonna do it like this for now, because I don't want to get too crazy. We can always adjust this stuff later. I think this is a good balance of concise and clear, if those aren't the same thing. So one more time, we're gonna go change tile set atlas format. This is gonna be X tile chords. We're gonna move some stuff around. Because I alphabetize everything like a psycho. X atlas width. You're doing good. You're just game deving away. That's what we're doing too. How goes it there? Here, it's good here. We had a pretty big breakthrough yesterday in terms of we figured out how to solve all of our big tile set atlas problems by just restricting the block editor. So we eliminated the possibility of placing, or we've decided to restrict the possibility of placing 2x2 wall groups, which really simplifies the need of the for the outlines. So instead of needing this huge thing, instead of needing 169 tiles to represent a wall, now we only need 47 here. Now we only need 47. So huge change. Now we just cover sides and edges, or edges and corners. So pretty good breakthrough. And so now that we're happy and we've got kind of our new format here, so this is like X facing full walls, X facing half walls, X facing floor sides, and then here are all the Z facing ones, the Y facing stuff. So we ended up cutting the size of the tile set atlas in half, which is great. Went from being 1024 by 256 to being 512 by 256. So we're pretty happy with this. We just need to, now we need to get it in the system and teach the autotiler about the corners. That's kind of what we're working on, probably for the remainder of the week here. We're doing all the typical stuff like overthinking naming conventions. All right, this is good enough. Should I add the required? Doesn't matter to add the required keyword, because the whole thing is nullable, but this seems fine. All right, still not 100% on whether we should add the width number here. All right, so we've got our buffer components. Let's go back over here. I need to simplify this, cut some of this stuff out here. All right, so when we make our new thing, we say game.world.add buffer component. We specify that we want to add a X tile set atlas index buffer. And, oh, I have to specify T2. T2 is the actual element in the component. That's just an int, right? We assign it to tile set format. We need to register this component type. This sucks. Totally blowing out the naming system here. Diginanigans. Random question. What's the VI stand for in the namespace folder structure? Vector I. So that's just where all my integral vectors go in this little folder. I have my own integral vectors, which is like kind of silly, but it's been nice enough to be able to like define like little custom helper stuff. I could have just used Godot's, but I didn't want to. Partly because they use a capital I in C#, and I prefer the lowercase I. All right, what are we calling this? X face. I mean, can I get rid of the word face? Can I just say X tile? X tile set atlas index buffer. I feel like face doesn't do anything for us. X face tile set atlas index buffer. X tile set. We could also say tile set atlas index buffer X. I can never tell if I want the differentiator at the beginning or at the end. I guess it depends on what I'm trying to do with it. I think I maybe like this better. Tile set atlas index buffer Y. Tile set inlet atlas index buffer X. We have a very limited number of components that we've registered currently. This is going to grow, and I'm probably going to reorder this at some point. Do I even need the word index? We don't really describe what's in any of these except maybe entity ID. I think I could just say tile set atlas buffer X. We're getting dangerously close to just shortening to something like tile buffer X, which is not good. Yeah, let's keep this. Time to use the amazing refactor tools here. Better. All right, good enough. We shorten it a little. Tile set atlas index buffer Z. I'm okay with this. This is enough things. I do think we want to include here a public integer width And the question is, do we need to... The width should probably be up here. In which case we don't need to list it. And then what we need to do here is we need to say int width. I think I like that because we do want to know the width. Width is weird though, because length describes the overall atlas or the buffer length. It's like buffer length, and then width is like the atlas width. Just a little whatever. I think it's fine. I'll know what we're talking about. You can't always get bogged down in like, does this make sense to someone just seeing it for the first time? It's like, it doesn't really matter for my case. The real question is, will I understand what any of this does 6 months from now? All right. I think that's good. Yeah, we want the width. So now what we do is we go in here. So when we make this, we add a buffer component. We registered all of these already, didn't we? Is there somewhere else I need to register these? Do I need to register these under type? I do. Whoa, there's a disagreement between the flag list and the type list. That's not good. Is there? 5? There's 5 here. There's 5. Oh, no, there isn't. Okay, good. I have a really stupid component typing system. Don't look at it. This is one of the many reasons I favor short names, because this is a very wordy process I have here. Why do I have a name? String name. Oh, okay. I don't know if I use that for anything. I'm one of those people that feels the pressure to like keep shortening the names of things until I have no idea what it does. Wait, what does this code even mean? Hey, bad cop. How does component have members of type component? It's really rough. I ran into some issues with the way I wanted to handle generics. And this was the workaround. I could probably explain how it works, but I don't know if you'd respect me more after the explanation or less. It's very possible that you would respect me less. So, like, there's an abstract component that needs to be implemented with and it needs to define a particular type. So there's like, it has to do with the chunking system for components and how we store components, because yeah, it's a whole mess, because there's some data structures that don't know what kind of component it is, and there's some data structures that will only work with a given component type, or at least some type where the type is known. So yeah, it's a weird problem with how I've organized the ECS system and generics in C#. I could probably get around it using like code generation and stuff, but like I'm not good enough. How's it going, bad cop? You truly think ECS is a bad idea unless you're secretly 20 people? I may be. There's really no way to know. No, this is a questionable decision I've made to do this. I just don't know how else I would organize this in a way. I need rules. I need a framework, and ECS provides me a very clear framework of how to organize all this stuff that I'm familiar with. It's not a great reason. It's the only one I got. You think ECS is one of those, we have too many people working on this type of solutions? Yeah, you need to find something for them to do. Yeah. How's it going then, bad cop? You're down to jam? Like microservices? Oh, it's just when you need to wrangle the chaos of too many people touching the same code. Yeah, that makes sense. That sounds like a real explanation. As a single person, you think it's strictly bad? Maybe. Maybe. I couldn't think of another way to organize all my stuff. But yeah. I'm the last person that's going to defend the... Okay, we don't need that. What we do need, though, is we need to know some things. What are the things that we need to know? We can say... What do we need to know for this? But how's it going, bad cop? Your presentation, is it out yet? I'm waiting. Your Godot con? Oh yeah, it is. They posted a couple weeks ago. Sick. So good. Are you down to jam? It's like 1 week. 1 week away. I'm not prepared. All right, so what do I need for this? I need to know a bunch of stuff about from the game Atlas. Let's say tile set Atlas format equals game.assets dot default tile set Atlas format. Just call it format. Can I suppress the I can't, oh, I can. Suppress nullable warning might hide an underlying problem. I guess we could do a null check. Yeah, because if the default format is null, we have a problem. You might be down to jam. You'll see. You're not going to vote on the theme, so you can complain when it's bad. Yeah, there's some rough ones in there. There always are. We'll see. I am kind of waiting for democracy to fail me in terms of the theme naming stuff. I'm waiting for just the worst possible or jokiest theme to pop up, and I'm going to be like, this is the only jam game I'm going to get out this year, and it's going to be like, the theme is just going to be like penguins, which actually would probably be a pretty good theme. It'll probably be worse than that. All right, so what do I need to know? I need to know format dot xtile coords. Well, no, I don't need to know that. I need the length is going to be 64, and the width is format dot xatlas width. boy. Why did you do it this way? That's a little better. All right. Come on, autocomplete. Write the rest of this for me. Why you put a space in there? Why you put a space in there, autocomplete? Why you keep adding spaces? You kind of just want to make Baldur's Gate 3. You've been playing it again, and it's all you can think about. Okay, okay, so this will be like the Skyrim, the Cave Rim jam, but instead it'll be like Baldur, but spelled like ER or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, there you go. Baldur's Cave 3. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, you should be able to do that in, what, 3 days? 72 hours? How hard could it be? What is this tile set format? Oh, it's an entity. Why do I call it this? I should call it something else. Whatever. Who cares? You're stuck at the end of Act 2 in Baldur's Gate. Oh no, you got like soft locked or something. Kill each party member and revive them one at a time. Okay. Yeah, I can't imagine how complex the logic is for something like that. Diginanigans only took Larian many years and a good few hundred people. Certainly seems feasible to knock it out in the weekend. I think so. I think so. It's just called Baldur's Gate, and it's just like a short game about trying to wrangle a group of people to like get them through a single gate. Yeah, someone's not ready to fight the boss. I hope they're ready to die then. You think you make Baldur's Gate, but it's only 30 minutes long? It's probably a lot simpler. Yeah. Critical Role Campaign 1 had so many problems with doors. Doors are the enemy of us all. All right, what am I trying to do? All right, so theoretically, we've made our entity that knows about all of the format stuff, so we should be able to go... We should be able to do something here. So we made this. What we need to do is we actually then, once we've made the buffer, we need to fill it. Should I be storing this? I probably should. Do I get the component back when I do this? I don't. Why not? Why don't I get the component back when I add the buffer component? Why didn't I do it that way? Is there a reason that I can't? Oh, I kind of can't. I mean, I could, but it would basically be the exact same thing as just asking to get the component. Do I need to get the component or can I just get the buffer? I guess in this case, I could just get the buffer. Do I use this? Do I use this directly? No. Oh, did I fix? I think I missed some things here. Should not say room buffer. Should say house at Atlas index buffer X. Can I just say equals? I don't actually know if I want to check the width. I should. I strictly should. Yeah, I should. Oh, people are saying things. People are talking to me. All right. Arneo, make one of those dating sims, but with Baldur's Gate levels of dialogue and narrative complexity. Skywalk, have you seen the BG3 speedrun in like 18 minutes or something? So many glitches used. No, but that's crazy. I feel like the tutorial is longer than 18 minutes. Bad Cop, you got the dialogue system. You just need the other parts. That's all you really need, right? Maybe just a looting system. I think that's called a dating sim. What if you had a game where you could romance characters, but their affinity towards you was randomized under the hood, and the romance minigame was about figuring out who is into you? That just sounds like life. Just... But yeah, also maybe a dating sim. Does this person hate me? Am I terrible? All these questions. Just because someone responded to you curtly. All right, I don't want to fix this right now. I don't know if I care right now. I'm going to undo that. Oh, yeah, this is fine. I'll put this part back. Not that it matters. I don't know if I'm ever going to be directly comparing these things, but whatever. Let's try not to reference some other unrelated thing at the time. All right, so how does any of this work again? I get the buffer. I fill the buffer. So I only get the buff. Here we go. Set buffer component. That's different than add. Add buffer component. Okay, then we got set buffer component. Oh, this is for changing the size. Oh, I create a new buffer. I remember how I do this. Right. So let's just make, well, does it matter? I don't think it matters the order in which I do this. I think I could add the component and then fill it, or I could add all three and then fill all three. Yeah, let's just do that. So we'll say read write, buffer read write of block. Just buffers of ints. I haven't really played dating sims either, Arneo. I mean, I've played, you know, the Mass Effect games and Dragon Age and stuff like that. I really don't, I don't know. I kind of lost the taste for those games at some point in the last, you know, 15 years. I really have a hard time getting through a story-based RPG. So can I just say variable index buffer x equals new buffer read write int buffer component. So, oh, I need to get the component. Yeah, this is why I feel like add buffer component should give me the component back. I don't like the way I've organized this. We just add a buffer here. We don't return anything. Could I... We could just return the buffer ID. That would be good. That's probably something we should return. Unless I need the buffer for some reason when I'm getting the... Or if I need the buffer component when I'm getting the buffer. So I just need the component. Oh, I do need to pass in the component. Or is there a constructor that just takes the buffer ID itself? There is, but it also needs this. So I could either pass in the component, or I could just pass in. I don't know why. Oh, this is the constructor. I need to give it the bounding box. Does that work the same for the regular buffer read write? Yeah, you need to know the length. That's fine. Yeah, I kind of want to change this to return the buffer ID. Comp.length, comp. Well, hold on. You have to pass in the component when you create it. And then you should just get it back. Oh, I'm not storing it anywhere. I could say T1 new component is comp with buffer ID equals add buffer T2 comp.length whatever, and I could just return the new component. Because we have to create a component. I guess we don't. We could just pass in the length if that's all we need. All right, we're going to try to avoid rewriting that whole thing just to make me feel better. We'll just get him. I don't care. This is the thing I hate most about this, is how I have to define the type here and pass in the flag. But this is strictly isn't, I could probably find a way to work around that. I just haven't cared enough to do so. But I probably should put some more effort into that, because this is terrible. All right. The autocomplete kind of helped me with that for once. Why do we need to also know the flag? Oh, because we use it. Get archetype, get components. The archetypes get component wants the flag. Why does the archetypes get component want the flag? Return component dot get component chunkless type flag. Oh, we use the flag as like a dictionary thing. Oh, it's the key of the dictionary. That makes some sense. But what we should be able to do is we should, if we pass in the type, we should, okay, never mind. I see why we got ourselves into this position. There's probably a way around that, but I don't care. Shenanigans for Baldur's Gate 3. Someone did a 3-minute and 23-second any percent speedrun a year ago. What? 3 minutes for Baldur's Gate 3? That's crazy. Sorry, I don't see your YouTube messages for like ever. All right, let's try to stay on target here. All right, so we add all our buffer components. For some reason, we go through the trouble of getting them back, which feels so dumb. Maybe I do change the add buffer component to give us the component back. How would we do this? How would we achieve this? I see why we don't do this. No, I actually don't see why we do this. Couldn't I just say T1 initialized comp or identified, I don't know, buffered, new. Can I just take this, put this here? Say comp with buffer ID. So we just store the comp with the buffer ID, we pass it in here. And then at the end, we just return, we can say T1. And then if people don't want it, they can just discard it. Return comp with buffer ID. I like this better. I don't see a reason why that wouldn't work. Because we create the component to pass it in with the information we need. Arguably, we don't need to do this, though. Oh, this is because we don't want to have to parameterize everything that the component might need to exist. Because all we care about is the length at this phase. That's why we pass in the component. That's reasonable. So we can just say, so we can move this part up here. We can probably call this something simpler. We'd call this buffer x comp equals. Oh, you want an explicit type? Okay. Have it. Have an explicit type. All right. Well, we made an improvement to the way this works. So that's nice. You can take a shorter, you can take a shortcut. I can skip this part. We can say, let's just call this X comp. XO comp. Star Trek reference. Peanut hamper. Additional Star Trek reference. All right. We'll say variable. Oops. All right. So we can say X buffer. Equals new buffer read write integer. We can just pass in X comp. Is that literally all we have to do? That doesn't seem right. Oh, yeah. Huh. The complexity is usually just in getting the component. Once you've got the component, it's super easy to get the buffer. Okay. That's nice. Okay, now we got all our buffers. I wonder if I just want to call this default format. Eventually, we want to have like a registry of formats. But right now, we just have one, so I guess we just keep it simple, keep it safe. All right, so we got our components, we got our buffers. Now we just need to fill these buffers. It's a little weird how we go about doing this because... So what we're doing is we're kind of inverting the way this stuff is stored. We've got 1 minute of ads left. I'm going to go grab some water real quick, and then we'll dig into this part. back. Hope you enjoyed the chair stream. I mean, my chair writes better code than me, so there is that. All right, so here's my conundrum. The way I want to store this so here's how it's stored in the JSON file. Like I said, each index corresponds to the actual position along this block here. So there's 47 of these tiles, so we go 0 to 46. And at each of those indexes, we have written the autotiler's coordinate system for the corresponding tile. So if we go over here, you can see like here's the XY. Easier to see with these. So these are the XY values for these. The indexes written here are the indexes, like I said, that correspond to these. And then here is like, so if we go to like 5 again, which is at 2, 2, we can see that all these ones have, these all have XY values, but no ZW value. And then if we can look at their derivatives, like if we go to 46, which is at 3, 3 of the XY, we can see all the variations of 46, which share the same XY value, but have different ZW values. So this is how the autotiler thinks of everything, which is just simply encoded as a vector 4. But when I'm storing this, I can just store it as a byte, which is maybe like that's maybe over optimized. But it's important because that's how we're going to store it within a buffer. And so what we can do is we can take the byte value of that and what? How am I going to get the index from that? Let me think about this for a second. So let's take a simple case like this. This is the third index, and it's encoding it. Well, it's the 0, 1, 2. Well, it's technically the third index, but it's index 2. And its code is 30000. So if I turn this vector into an index based on its byte value, we basically just need to map each this isn't actually that hard. I'm just having a hard time articulating it, which is typical for me. Do I have something that will help with this already? Like, does our bitfield class do anything for us here? Or it's not a class. Do you do anything for us? I don't really want to store you like this because don't think you're actually useful to us here. No, you're not. Because we don't want to manipulate it as a bit field. We just want to know what the corresponding index is. If we have it, if we have an array, all of the indexes of which are just combinations of bit flag values. All right, how does that work? Sorry, I'm like quite tired, and it's it seems to be impacting my ability to reason about things. I'm ready for this 3-day weekend, for this long holiday weekend here. So we have all these coordinates. These need to map to particular index. What if I just stare at this? This might help. So this is 0. That should be pretty easy. This also doesn't... I don't know if Jason... I guess Jason likes code comments. It doesn't seem to be formatting it, but it also doesn't seem to be complaining. Oh no, it is complaining about it. Yeah, 3-day weekend. Almost forgot. You would have gone to work on Monday. Yeah, hopefully not. Oh, this isn't the index structure. The index structure is based on this. So I guess I do this the same way that I would do it if I was compressing any other multi-dimensional structure onto a single dimension. We'd do something. It would be something like you do like W divided by like size Y or size Z. How does this work? God, I'm so dumb. I know how to do this. I know how to do this part. I'm just having a hard time. Where do I do this? That would be an easy way to just crib what we're doing here. Does the tool system do this? Flatten multi-dimensional array. Oh, that's not how that question is phrased. Oh, I have this written somewhere. Hey, everyone, are we winning? Hey, Leandro. It's been a minute. How's it going? Happy Thursday. We're doing something. I'm getting stuck on a trivial math problem, which I should actually be able to look up here, maybe? Do I do this here? Where do I do this? I'm trying to reinvent the wheel here and trying to avoid it. What are you even up to? I must do this in a buffer or something somewhere. Maybe I do this in the bounding box. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, okay, I do it here. I do it when I do the get index. So when we pass in, so when we're iterating, we just iterate through index, and we got to generate a vector 3 for it. So we just say x is I modulo size.x times size.y modulo size.x Z I divided by yeah, okay, this should be pretty easy. So if I was doing this for a vector 4, so the size for us is just 2, right? Yeah, who needs wheels? Tank tracks, that's what we should all be using, right? Alternatives to wheels. How about unusual alternatives to wheels? I want to see like weird, historical, unusual alternatives to wheels. All right, I'm just getting more wheels. I've seen some. I like the one that was like a sphere. It was like a sphere held together. And it was like a bicycle, but instead of had wheels, it had like spheres. Yeah, forget about the wheel. Who wants a wheel? Scroll them down using the mouse wheel. Yeah, scroll them down. So what I want to do is I want to say something like... Oh, I actually want to do the opposite of this because I want to take a vector and get an index. So I actually want to do get index from coords. So I want to do this. So it should be something. So this just looks like x plus y times sx times size x plus z times size y times size x. So we just want a 4-dimensional version of that. So we want to do that, and then plus w times size y times size, or times size z times size y times size x. So this is essentially what I want, right? Is that right? I think so. How do I find the maximum size of that? Do I just do 2 times 2 times 2 times 2? That's not right. Oh, the size isn't 2. The size is 4 for us. It's 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. 256? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I feel like we could do this more efficiently than this because this is going to be a lot of... Why not vector 5? Look. We don't need that yet. I actually thought if we had been using the other version of the tile set format, this version that has the... if we had tried doing this with this other version, with this version, where it alternates with like this pattern of like half outline, full outline, we could have used a vector 5 for this. But because we've gotten rid of that and we've simplified it down to just the full edges, we no longer need the vector 5i. First mice had scroll spheres too. Oh, that's pretty cool. I've always tried to get into a trackball, but I don't know, it's never appealed to me. Historical alternatives to wheeled vehicles. Give me some fun, weird ones. Google image search is not doing the thing that I want. I just want to see wonky alternatives to the wheel that people have tried over the years, and it won't give it to me. But yeah, how are you doing, Leandro? You've been DuckDuckGo for a while, Skywalk. You almost forgot Google's a thing. Leandro, you're on call today? Ah, okay. Well, hopefully that goes by quick. So here's the thing. We could do this. But it would be inefficient. But is there a way around that? I don't think so. And anyway, storing 256 bytes, or sorry, storing 256 ints, is that more efficient than storing 47 vector 4s? I think so, right? Oh, it might not be, actually. No, it's not. That's fine. We're not trying to be space efficient. We're just trying to make it so we can store these in a buffer. It would be, technically speaking, better. Well, no, would it better? Because it would be a dictionary. I don't know how. I don't understand how the size complexity of a dictionary is handled, but because there'd be 47 elements, but you'd also have to store the keys. It's got to be better than that. An int array, a 256 int array would that be better than a dictionary with 47 key value pairs, the key being a vector 4 and the value being an integer? Or a vector 2. I guess it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. I don't know. I don't care. We're doing this the buffer way because that's what works with the way we can store things in entities. I can't put a dictionary in an entity buffer or in a buffer on an entity, but I can put an array of ints. So it's not 64, it's 256. I don't like this magic hard-coded number here, though. I should probably put a constant somewhere. What would I call it? Private constant int. Tile length. I don't think that's accurate. Maybe it is. Buffer length, I guess. It's actually more like a max byte value, which doesn't change. It's not really the max byte value, is it? Could actually only go up to 255. So I'm not going to call it that. I'm not going to call it buffer length. Good enough. Gotta go. No worries. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good weekend. Take it easy, Lando. All right. So we got our buffer. I feel like I'm going to hard code this here, and I think it's going to be okay. We're going to say, so, all right, so I'm going to go through this buffer. I have to go through this thing, so we got to say for I equals 0, I is less than tile set format dot oh, that's just the entity. We need xcomp length. Oh no, not xcomp dot length. Where is this thing? Oh, format dot x tile coords dot length. Yeah, I should try an alternate browser like that, like DuckDuckGo or Brave or something. I still use Google just because I'm like very tied into the Google ecosystem, especially at work. But even here, I have like multiple profiles. I have like my work and stream, or I have my game dev one, I have my personal one, I have one for my day job. It's just too convenient to give up at the moment. Okay, so we can iterate through all of the xtile coords. We want to know the index. Because the index is the multi-dimensional value we want to store. Or it's at least the index. The lookup goes from the tile autotiler system into the tileset atlas texture. So we're just kind of reversing everything. So we say x buffer. So what's the index of the x buffer? That's the value of the, so we're going to say format dot x tile coords I dot, could say vector for I coords equals format dot x tile coords I. So we get the coordinates, and then what we want to do is we want to say shenanigans. In your opinion, a browser is a browser. They all pretty much do the same thing now. Google has your info whether you use Chrome or not. You use Edge on Windows and Safari on your work Mac and phone. Yeah, It's definitely too late to, you know, control that at all for me. Skywalk says they don't get the AI as much AI bullshit like Google has, and there's some they are experiencing less censorship in DuckDuckGo, and that's pretty cool. Yeah, I just get, you know, you get uncomfortable the more entwined you are with these big corporations like Google and Amazon. I mean, or at least you should feel uncomfortable. I'm still working on it. All right, so X buffer. So we want the index we want. The fact that we're just inverting this is where I'm getting a little confused. So we go through here. The index is their index in the tileset atlas texture. The value in this array is the autotiler's multi-dimensional vector that they care about. So we convert this value to an index. But I don't totally understand. No, I guess it has to be 256. Okay. I mean, we could have a lookup that simplifies that, but I don't think that's worth doing. So I turned this value into an index. We specified how already. And then we just store I. Okay. So we flip the thing. So this is going to be equals I. And then this is coords.x plus coords.y times 4 plus coords.c times 4 times 4. I could just sort into 16. Plus coords.w times 4 times 4 times 4. Which I could simplify to 64. Oh, I gotta say buffer.span, or I could say set. Do I really not have indexing set up on the buffers? That seems like a missed opportunity. Where would you put an indexer? I put it before my constructor. That seems... Oh no, this is some static thing. Why do I have a converter built in here? Oh, I had a... Okay, that's awkward. Get rid of that. Okay, so after all the static biz... Okay, here's where I put the indexer. What else do I use with an indexer like that? I remember writing an indexer for something, and I kind of just want to reuse it, but I don't remember what it was. Yeah, I don't remember what it was. Huh. Okay. Maybe it was the 3D one. Okay, yeah, I did. I must have written one for the read write as well. Yeah, okay, so it's like this. This is what I wanted. I want to put one of these on the buffer read write, which I didn't do for some reason. So we'll do it after the implicit converter thing, right after this. Okay. Let's get an indexer here. So that doesn't make sense to do with a coordinate system. So we'll just say int. We'll just say index. We'll say getter default index, and set. We'll say set index value. Yeah, there we go. And then the read-only version of this is like this. Okay. That's nice. It's a lot of syntactical sugar, but, you know, it's what I like. So I would rather, because I would rather just say xbuffer this equals this. All right, cool. So this works. We can just do this for each one, huh? Might arrange this a little differently here. Like this. All right, I think this is the right thing to do here. Oh, almost. I get confused when the auto complete like gets part of it. Okay, I think we're doing it now. I think we've written out the information here. So now we should have our tile set format entity that tracks, that has buffers, that has all of the mappings from the autotiler to the new tile set atlas. Cool. All right, what we need to do now then is we need to actually set up the atlas. This is all set up with the other one. These are all the invalid. So we're starting with that. So I should actually, for one thing, make this. I think I might. I need to duplicate this. Save as, tile set. We're going to call this invalid block. Actually, we should call it missing block. Because invalid is going to look different. Invalid will be like a red overlay, I think. So that you can still see what it should be underneath, but this is for missing. So like if the block file that's trying to be read cannot be found, it'll render this missing block. So what we need to do for this, the outlines are correct already. So what we need to do is we need to just fill the interiors. So we need to go grab this probably. Interior. Yeah, I gotta grab the actual textures from this. Oop. Put that here. We just need to do that a bunch. Now we do this one. Oop, wrong layer. This one. Yeah, I realized for an invalid block, we don't actually want to use this. What we would want to just do is do an overlay. So that you can see if you've built something illegal, like the 2x2 wall thing. Oh, maybe it's not an overlay. Or... I have to think about that. Because the whole thing about an illegal construction or block composition like that is that the autotiler might not know how to draw that. I don't know. We'll have to think about that. Maybe in that case, the wall builder tool like literally won't let you place an additional wall if it can tell. I don't really want to do that kind of detection. Oh, why am I doing this again? I don't really want to do that kind of preemptive checking because that's a lot more work for the system. To be like, if this is placed, will it be illegal? Okay, then don't place it. But I guess we actually have the systems in place to handle that. Maybe that's fine. So excited for when we're like done with this, which I think we can finish this week. Be done with the autotiler for a while. I say I think we can finish this week. We better. We definitely need to finish it before down to jam, because I do not want any of this waiting for me when I get back from down to jam. All right, there's the X side, and now we just need the Y side, which is not a mirror, so I can't just flip H it. I have to go grab the actual piece here, which was kind of it was kind of the instigator of this whole process when I realized I couldn't just flip H everything. Oops, what did I do? Oh, I just moved something. Oh, that's the Z. I want the Y. Here we go. I definitely want to come up eventually with some kind of tool that can take this file and build the tile set atlas for us. Like we could define regions. Like we could slice this and we could include the layer information in the slice in like the metadata that's included with the slice. So we could just slice each region and then have a little program when it pulls in these files, just create tile set atlas sources for them as needed. That'd be cool. 'Cause yeah, I don't want to set every single one of these up by hand. It's possible that I could duplicate an existing one and just swap the texture out, and it would remember things like the atlas chords and stuff. And I'm also thinking about the what do you call it? Texture origin. That's also kind of annoying to have to set by hand. But I'm glad we didn't start trying to make a tool for this, because we would have been wrong. We would have done it so wrong. We would have spent so much time on the tool without fully understanding the requirements. I feel like the requirements need to stabilize significantly before you should think about making a tool for something like this. And that ended up being a good call. Why did I just do that manually twice? It's because I'm yapping. It's a sign of being tired. I think I need to go get a tea and a snack. Cup of tea would be real nice right about now. Although I think I might have a cup of tea later, so maybe not. Although maybe I do need the caffeine. And then I'll have chamomile later or something. My life basically revolves around coffee and tea and snacks. I get a lot of criticism for it. But I work from home, so it's like, I don't know. It's too easy to just be like, time to go get a cup of tea. Working hard, need a cup of tea. Appreciate everyone hanging out here. Even if you're just lurking. I actually especially appreciate it if you're lurking. Not that I don't want people to talk. I just really appreciate it that you find it nice to hang out here. You're gonna head out for now to shenanigans. A bit burnt out. You need to take a break. Probably catch me next week. Yeah, no worries. I'm still working on this next week. You should give me a hard time. But yeah, enjoy the weekend. Enjoy some well-deserved downtime here, hopefully. Y deck interior. Yeah, I'm looking forward to kicking back after the workday. Maybe play a little game. Maybe play a little Hard Space Shipbreakers. I'm kind of excited about the Deep Rock Galactic little Vampire Survivors like thing that's coming out in its finished form. Looks fun, but I've avoided playing it during early access. I already own it, but it's going to be on Game Pass, so I'm like, oh, I can play it from the couch. That sounds good. I'm always torn when something like that comes out, because I've got it on Steam, so I can play it on my Steam Deck and stuff, or my PC. But it's also coming to Game Pass, so I could just play it on my Xbox. I just feel spoiled for choice sometimes. And the thing with the Game Pass thing is, like, if you lose access to it, if it goes off of Game Pass, you lose all your stuff, potentially. If you don't decide to buy it again, which I wouldn't, because I already own it on Steam. Alright, so how many Z layers do we need for this particular piece? I think the answer is 2. So I am going to get rid of like the vast majority of these layers because I don't need them, but luckily I have a templatized version of this that is unaffected. So if we do need them, hold on. Just a second here. Default only has one version. So at most, I would only ever need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 copies of this structure, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's only like two-thirds of the space. We have a lot of space on the side here. I don't know what to do with. For this particular case, though, I need at least... I need at least 3. So let's just make 3 of them. There's no such thing as a Z-bulk half top. It would just be the full mid. I think. Well, theoretically... I'm just going to store a Z top and a Z mid for this specific one because that's all we need. There's worlds or there's arrangements in which we need a greater variety of these, but I'm just going to keep it simple. Like one should when possible. Oh, here's the only... okay, I actually might need 3. Might actually need 3. half top doesn't make any sense. I'm getting rid of this layer. Because the half block would never be on top of anything. So this is going to be this, and it's going to look exactly the same. And then these I can just move up here. Okay, I think these are all the layers I need here. I just need to make sure I'm keeping them straight. All right. Yeah, because there's a light one and a dark one. So I want the light one here. I like that color too. It's really vibrant, but I like it. Also need that one here. I'm just going to do them separate, even though they're identical. And then maybe I can use the remaining space just to showcase a few of the completed objects or something. I don't know. Do I actually want light and darker versions of these too? I kind of do, but I don't want to worry about that right now. So I'm not going to. But yeah, we would eventually want variants. Why is this? Oh, I know. All right, cool. I think that's it for now. This is a bit duplicated, but I'm going to try it. Because I want to practice. I want to leave it in such a way that if I start using splices, or slices, not splices, slices, I want to have it work. Okay, so what we can do next time is we can actually build the tile sets with this. We can plug this texture in. I need to export. We'll plug this texture in, replace these textures, this texture, rebuild the tile sets a little bit, and then see. Theoretically, when we do this, and we sub this out, the autotiler should work just like before. And then all we need to do is teach the autotiler about the corners, and it can start using them. But it should at least be able to achieve the same functionality that it did before. So we'll probably do that tomorrow. We're going to find someone to raid out to here. Otter is live. Exo is live. Tim is live. Starlight Lacana is live. We never raid them. Let's do that. They're doing Godot game dev. They have a really cool light theme. Be warned. Flashbang warning. But yeah, this has been awesome. It's been a great day. I really appreciate the raid again. Shout out to Z.A. Shaw for the raid. Anyone who's actually stuck it out from then, you're incredible. Thank you. That raid happened like 30 minutes into the stream. I also need to follow them. But yeah, we're cooking along. We'll be streaming tomorrow and Saturday. Saturday's usually a little later, but we're always doing it. And then yeah, next week is Down to Jam, starting Friday. Exciting, scared. I should really spend some time on my jam template, but I will not. So we'll just, you know, do our best. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.